Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to have a 2024 prediction, with a battle between the incumbent president Joe Biden going up against the current governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, so we think this is a pretty likely outcome of the primaries. We see here in the betting odds for the Republican presidential nomination. We see Ron DeSantis leading the pack, almost hitting 50 cents here, following his very strong performance in the midterms this year. And of course, Biden, as the current president, enjoys a very big advantage in the Democrats' camp. He recently had a few legislative wins, and honestly, if he runs, it's his nomination. So a few vice presidential picks. We obviously know Biden will run with Harris again. There's just very low chance he doesn't.
Yeah.
But for the Republicans, this one is actually very interesting, Luke. Like Trump's been floating around, who he might pick for VP, but DeSantis has been trying to avoid that. And I personally think he'd pick someone from the Midwest because he needs that Midwestern, sort of candidate to boost him up there because that's where he would have to win the presidency. So maybe someone like Kim Reynolds would be picked, but something
Or maybe
like that.
this is a little outside the Midwest, but maybe Kristi Noem too. She's in that sort of area. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
While we're shooting ideas, like Glenn Youngkin's also in a decent position too
Glenn
to be picked for
Youngkin.
vice president. Yeah.
There's been people saying like Tim Scott, etc. There's a lot of people that could be picked. Who do we want to pick for the purpose of this video?
Let's do Kim Reynolds because that was the first one we brought up.
Yeah, and I honestly think this is this is a good pick for him because she won by a large margin in Iowa, and she has that sort of kind of pull in the Midwest in Iowa. So there we go. And now let's look at the states here. We have the safe states with no discussion, as always, filled out. But there's a few more solid states that we need to talk about. Let's start with the Democrats, because why not?
The first main one that I see here is Colorado. We've seen Colorado shooting to the left. I think all its races were 10 points or higher for the Democrats in 2022, which is May year for Democrats. I think Republicans actually won the generic ballot by 2 points. So, Colorado's shooting to the left. It's going to be solid for 2024. I definitely think that. Anything else?
We talked about Nebraska 2nd District. How do you feel with DeSantis on the ballot?
I think if we talked about this in one of our past videos, but I think if Trump was on the ballot, it'd be solid. But I think with DeSantis on the ballot, I think it wouldn't go as far left. I feel like this is more likely territory. Okay. Honestly. Yeah.
Okay. And then we have a few more. There's Virginia, which is sort of. What do you think? I think it might be barely unsafe.
Virginia depends for me, actually, because Virginia hasn't really been properly tested since 2020. Because in 2021, we had the governor's race where the Republicans won, but that's the beginning of there's usually a kickback to the incumbent presidency, a revolt. Mm-hmm. So that's an example of that. And then it really depends. So and in 2022 we saw one Virginia House seat flip to the Republicans, while the others stood for the Democrats. Right. Yeah. So I'm not really sure where Virginia stands right now. I think I'm right between likely and solid. And I think because Biden's so unpopular, I think this will actually go likely.
Okay, maybe we'll just put likely. I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Youngkin won based off a very effective campaign on the culture war, on education, and DeSantis has that same kind of campaigning style. So I can actually see him narrowing that margin there. All right, let's continue on, and we should probably go on to the Republican solid / likelies.
There's one clear one right off the bat in the Southeast.
You
Florida.
think so? You think
Yeah,
so?
Florida. I mean, yeah. I mean, after you win by 19 points in Florida, I mean, I don't really see it going back. Like, I mean, like DeSantis is just like kind of just sat himself as the king of Florida here. Like, I don't really
Mm.
think there's going to be any opposite. Like, I mean, with that kind of win, you know, like okay, there's Biden voters, there's Clinton voters, there's Obama voters who are voting for DeSantis in Florida. Like when you win that big, you already know there's that kind of crossover. People are moving to DeSantis in Florida, so yeah, I don't know. I think I could see it going solid. I mean, with the shifts plus DeSantis's popularity in the state, like I don't really
Mm.
see any reality where it doesn't go red.
I
So
can only see that reality if Trump runs as well as a third party if he gets salty. But barring that, I would say it's safe. Yeah.
yeah,
All right, let's continue on. There's Alaska here, which honestly, in my opinion, this one is safe if DeSantis runs
yeah,
here. Just because Alaska likes its moderates and DeSantis is going to be seen as that, especially when if he wins the Republican nomination over Trump. He's obviously the more centrist. So you agree?
yeah. I definitely agree. Alaska, yeah, I think it's gonna stay solid Republican. Yes.
All right. And then there's the question of states like Iowa and Ohio. Now, if Reynolds is on the ticket, I think Iowa's for sure going in the safe column. But I'm not sure about Ohio. What do you think?
I mean, we've discussed this before. Like the Midwest. I mean, we've seen in years without Trump, the Midwest has actually gone like more blue in like 2018, 2022. It's gone pretty. It's the Midwest is like voted pretty blue. So
Not
I'm not
Iowa
sure.
though.
Well, yeah, not Iowa, but like
That's why, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure about how DeSantis is going to factor in because I mean, there's Biden's popularity, but there's also the risk that after like a nasty primary with Trump, that Trump's like attacking DeSantis and doesn't endorse him.
You're right.
So
You're
I mean,
right.
there's a lot of factors like and like I don't know, the Midwest is like the most influx place for me when it comes to this kind of matchup. Um, I think maybe I can agree with you. Like if Reynolds is on the ticket, that Iowa can go solid. But yeah, Iowa can go solid. But Ohio, yeah, I think
Yeah,
that'll still stick. Like
skeptical.
I think that'll still stick like likely margin.
Skeptical about
Yeah.
Ohio for sure. All right, let's continue, I guess. Now we also have to talk about New Mexico here, actually.
hmm
New Mexico has been having some weird shifts, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at I mean, just generally, if you look at the Latino vote, like across like that southern part of the country, it's generally moving to the right, and that's not good for a state like for Democrats in a state like New Mexico.
Yeah.
Lujan Grissom, I mean, as you're showing on the map there, she won in 2018 by 14 points. It's a blue year, but if you go to like 2022, I think she won by what, like six? Yeah, six.
6.4,
I mean,
yeah.
that's less than her margin in 2018, obviously, but it's also less than the Biden margin in 2020. I mean, I guess you can argue that could be due to the climate, like of 2022,
Yeah. And
but
Ronchetti running.
and Ron Chetty running. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not too. I do not think New Mexico is going to be a safe seat, a safe blue state for 2024. I think it's gonna. I think chances are it's going to be in that likely margin, just because like it looks like these Latino and it's like Hispanic voters are generally like edging away from the Democrats. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I think it'll be like,
DeSantis himself has some really good pull.
oh yeah, in Florida, definitely for sure, for sure.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and put that in likely Democrat column. All right, now comes the more difficult seats. Maybe we can do Maine second, actually, just
Oh
really
yeah, Maine
quickly.
second, yeah,
Probably just likely Republican.
probably likely Republican, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just put it there. All right, now comes the actual hard stuff, and we should probably start off with Texas and New Hampshire, right? These are the least contentious ones.
I mean, yeah, well, going with Texas first. I Trump won this by 5.5, I believe, in 2020, right? Like around that area.
Yeah,
I
5.6.
I mean,
5.6.
okay, 5.6. Okay, I was like a tenth of a point off, but all right. I mean, I think generally Texas is still moving to the left,
Yeah.
because of, I mean, these suburban shifts are definitely going to be outweighing the Hispanic shifts in the south of Texas. But I mean, there's Biden's in popularity, and then DeSantis is, obviously a way less flawed candidate than Trump. I don't know. I think Texas is going to stay kind of where it was in 2020, like that likely margin. I'm not really sure. I think DeSantis is just like less flawed than Trump, and then obviously Biden's unpopular. So I think generally it'll just stick the same, like likely are. Like, yeah. Do you agree? Or
Yeah, I think likely are. I mean, DeSantis, again, he has his pull with Latinos, right? And Texas is obviously that border state. We also know that Trump's just not exactly what DeSantis is in some areas in the map. And I think while Trump's stronger, like in the Midwest, he's just not that great down here. So yeah, we'll go likely Republican.
okay.
All right. Now comes the more hard stuff. We have Minnesota and New Hampshire here.
And even what about Maine as well? I think they're all kind of.
Oh yeah, and Maine. I just didn't see it because the.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I guess starting with Maine because that was the thing. I think it'll stay like likely blue.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Maine's kind of proven itself like it's a more like blue leaning state nowadays.
Yeah.
As for New Hampshire, I have a pretty clear idea of where I think it's gonna go. I think with a less Trumpy candidate in DeSantis, I think they're actually gonna vote more to the right, but like I don't think it'll be enough to stop. Because I mean, I will say, New Hampshire has been voted pretty blue recently. I mean, 9 points in 2022 for the Dems, 7 points for Biden in 2020. I mean, they've been voting pretty decently blue on the federal level recently. So I think they'll just continue that trend. I think it'll be like a lean blue. I mean, even in 2016,
yeah,
still voted for
Clinton. I agree.
So.
I think lean blue is the right characterization. Now I could see Sununu going all around the state campaigning for DeSantis though. So that might like change things up a little with the moderate Dems in
That's true.
New Hampshire because I mean he's certainly getting that endorsement as soon as DeSantis decides to run. So yeah, all right, there we go with New Hampshire. Lean blue is still the right move though. And then Minnesota, I think, is also lean blue. I'm teetering on the border of lean and likely here.
Yeah, obviously.
I agree. Biden won this by 7, and I think again I think the moderates just bring it back a little in Minnesota. We saw that Ilhan Omar primary this year.
That's right.
Stuff like that. There are moderates in Minnesota, but it's definitely not enough to give DeSantis the win here.
But here's another factor also that I'm just thinking of now. Amy Klobuchar is on the ballot in Minnesota in 2024, and she's like hella popular in Minnesota. She won by like was it 20 in 2018? I don't know. Maybe that could have like an impact on the ballot. But
it's true.
I mean, I don't know. I'm in the middle for this one. I'll go with what you think. But yeah, I'm between lean and likely for Biden here in Minnesota.
Yeah, maybe it's likely then with Klobuchar. I mean, that is a pretty good point. She's gonna get those people out to vote, I think. So yeah, we'll go likely, I guess, just barely though. All right.
Okay.
Let's continue on to the final 7 states that usually define who wins the presidential election of that year. And do you want to go east to west or west to east?
I think we start in the west and then
all right, let's start in the west. We have Nevada here, which we saw this year a split ticket. We saw Lombardo win, but Laxalt lose. And I personally think it's going to keep shifting to the right just barely, and it's going to be tilt Republican for DeSantis.
Honestly, I could even see it going lean Republican. I was going to say
it could, but I don't think it will. It's just I don't know.
Because I mean, shifts like the shifts in the Hispanic vote, plus DeSantis not being like, I mean, he's definitely more popular than Biden. I mean, I don't know. I could see this going lean. Yeah, I could see this going lean red. But I mean, if you think it's tilt, I mean, you can put it that way. But
okay, here's the thing. I'm just not I'm not confident on getting this to a lean. The reason being, like, I don't know. like DeSantis doesn't seem like the type to just energize the people in Nevada to get out and vote and then win by a lot. But I guess it's only 1 point to overcome. We can put it in lead.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Arizona. Now, Arizona has been really weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, Arizona has been very interesting. I mean, in the state, it seems like they like when you look at the Republicans in the state, it seems like the Republicans favor the more extreme Trumpy type. I mean, like
Mhm.
in 2022, their entire slate was just like all like far right candidates who wanted to overturn elections and stuff. Um, but I mean, on the flip side, though, I mean, I think the state still has a lot of moderate voters, and generally in the Phoenix area, they've been moving to the left despite Hispanic shifts in other parts of the state. We saw Mark Kelly win by 4.9. We
Yeah.
saw Katie Hobbs overcome Carrie Lake in 2022. I actually think Biden is going to win by like a lean margin in 2024. I think he's going to
Wow.
hold Arizona. I think he'll keep it. So what do you think?
I actually agree with that lean margin. Something you should probably keep in mind though, as well, is that cinema factor. Because if cinema's on that ballot, we could see some really weird dynamics
Oh,
shake
yeah, that's
up
very
in
interesting.
the state of Arizona. Obviously, people are gonna think more about their vote with such a weird like three-party, three candidate
Yeah, if
vote in the
it's
Senate.
cinema,
And
if
that
it's
could,
yeah,
I'm
she's an independent now. Yeah.
yeah, I think, I mean, the moderates might be more inclined to vote DeSantis, with having to think more about that Senate race. I'm not exactly sure though.
I mean, yeah, like it depends how you well, like she's definitely gonna shake up the ballot there because if it's cinema, a
Yeah,
Democrat, and then a Republican, that's gonna be
ex-
like very interesting
exactly.
in
And
Arizona.
yeah, the Democrat that's going to be nominated is going to be seen as extreme. The reason being, we're going to have something like the Mark Victor debates of 2022, where you're going to see three people on that debate stage, right? You're going to see a Republican, cinema, and then the Democrat. And we're going to see probably 2v1 on the Democrat on being too extreme. And the problem there is that could hurt Biden on the top of the ticket. But I still think lean is the right characterization. Arizona's just been sort of like this lean state. We're gonna see like Katie Hobbs. We're gonna see Mark Kelly campaign for Biden. I think it's gonna be enough for him.
I mean, even like, do you think we'd see cinema campaign for Biden? Or I'm not
I'm
sure about
not
that.
sure about
They've
that
worked on
one.
they've worked on like infrastructure and stuff. I mean,
That's
I'm not sure.
true.
She still
But
passed his climate bill, so I mean, I will say
well,
that.
the thing is, like, what's Cinema's strategy to win? Does she still want to win over her old Democrat coalition with a more progressive on the ballot? Like, she's got to think about how she can survive. Like, that's her number one goal this cycle.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's going to be a really interesting race. Lean
Okay,
B,
let's
probably
keep
the right
moving.
thing. Yeah, let's keep moving. Wisconsin here. Wisconsin, I think, out of the three Midwest states, if DeSantis could only win one of them, Wisconsin is his best bet.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's probably going to be just enough for him just this year. I think we're going to see DeSantis probably like tilt Republican here in Wisconsin. Now, I'm not too confident in him, but I think he's just going to be able to win over those Obama, Trump, Biden voters, right? Like those old white voters that just keep flipping. And I think they're going to flip right back to DeSantis. But at the same time, he doesn't have that Midwestern poll that Trump did. We know Kim Reynolds on the ballot. She's like next to Wisconsin. Maybe that does something. I don't know. This is
Probably
a
not
pure
much.
toss up, though.
Yeah, I think this is I still think I mean, I don't know. Because I thought Wisconsin was gonna go more to the right in 2022.
Yeah,
Like
for
with
sure.
Johnson stuff, but it and with Tim Michaels running for governor, but it just didn't. I mean, Tony Evers won by like 3 points. So Democrats can still win in
That is
Wisconsin.
true. That
But
is true.
then you factor in, okay, Biden's unpopular. So maybe DeSantis can overcome him through that. And that's where I think I think DeSantis really comes over the top here. Because I think just because Biden's like, he's down he's down in the polls. He's never really been a popular president since like the first half of his first year. So yeah, I think we could put this tilt R or lean R, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so confident enough, especially after 2022, to put it into lean, but I think tilt's the
Okay.
right move. All right, Michigan. And I don't think DeSantis is going to win Michigan. I'll be blunt about that. Honestly, I think Biden-Harris ticket still has that like pull in the Detroit area, etc., with the black voters. And I think that Obama coalition does come back for Biden over DeSantis. And if Trump couldn't even come within like what, three or something
It was
last
like
time,
2.8. I
or
think Biden
yeah,
won
like
2.8.
something like that. Yeah, 2.8. And honestly, I don't see DeSantis making up that much ground when his name is not Donald Trump. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, we did see Whitmer do like crazy well in
Yeah,
Michigan. Democrats in general, they won a trifecta
yeah.
in the state
Mhm.
house. They kept all their house seats. Whitmer won by over 10. I mean, 2022, the Republicans got shellacked in Michigan. Like it was like essentially a blue wave in Michigan. It was so weird. But I don't know. Like again though, like I feel like Biden versus Sanders is going to be a different story because we is going to be a different story because we've seen Republicans get close in Michigan before. John James got pretty close in 2020 to beating Gary Peters. I think it was like a 1 point race. So I'm not really sure. Honestly, I think this is a pretty true toss up for me. Like, because again, like Biden isn't the
Really?
most popular guy. I'll go with what you think here, but yeah, I think this is going to be pretty close. Like, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, this one's close. Well then I guess you have to just put it into tilt. I mean, if you're not that sure, but I would even put it into lean here. Honestly, I think DeSantis is not gonna do that well in the Midwest. But I guess we'll put that into tilt, maybe. All right, let's continue.
Maybe, yeah, maybe we do North Carolina next because I think we both kind of know where that's going to go already,
Yeah,
right?
North Carolina, I guess you're right. Yeah, North Carolina, I think is just lean Republican.
Yeah, I mean,
With
it's kind of just
without
been in that area.
without any Trump shenanigans. This map is basically without Trump shenanigans
Yeah,
because with Trump shenanigans, that gets a lot weirder and a
yeah.
lot worse for DeSantis.
This is assuming that Trump doesn't get ultra mad and
Yeah,
claim fraud in the primary and like run as a third party and
yeah,
all this stuff. This is
yeah,
assuming just like a clean fight, like DeSantis v. Biden, like either with or without Trump endorsement for DeSantis. Like
yeah,
I think, yeah, yeah. This
yeah.
is essentially that.
I think if Trump did endorse DeSantis like enthusiastically, then DeSantis would have a much better shot in the Midwest,
Yeah,
especially Michigan.
but this
But
is
that's
Trump
not
we're
a
talking
Trump
about.
thing to do. That's not a
Yeah,
Trump
Trump
thing
would
to do.
never do that.
So
Like
actually,
he's a winner.
yeah, I
Like
think this
no,
is
he wouldn't do
probably
that.
lean. But anyways, let's continue. All right, Pennsylvania, I think, is less close than Georgia, and Pennsylvania, I think, I'm honestly trying to put lean Democrat on both Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Oh, really?
But it's yeah,
Interesting.
I actually don't think DeSantis has that pull at all. And honestly, Pennsylvania loves their people who can't talk. So I think Biden's got this one.
Yeah, but I will say, if you're referencing John Fetterman there, Fetterman
True.
is different. Like he's like a Pennsylvania brand guy. He comes from Braddock, Pennsylvania. Like he's kind of like among
Okay,
those like working class
Biden
people.
comes from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
you
But
talking
okay,
about?
okay. I guess that's true, but I don't know. Like he has more of that like hardworking Pennsylvania vibe. I mean, I feel like Biden kind of loses that, like becoming like vice president and then president and then like senator from Delaware. I feel like he's like kind of like I feel like through that he's kind of disassociated himself with a little. And then speaking of disassociation with the state, I mean, you look at Dr. Oz, he wasn't even from the state. So like, I mean, like it kind of screws things up. Like I think looking at the Senate race, that's different than looking at a presidential race because like senator is more like okay, this is the state itself, this isn't the country as a whole. So we have either a guy from the state who like to be our senator or a guy or a rich guy from New Jersey running in our state. Like so I think the choice for Fetterman like it becomes a little more clear in that sense. But I mean, I don't really think that applies to Joe Biden versus DeSantis. I actually think that I mean, I don't know. I again, like similar to Michigan, I think Pennsylvania is going to be in that toss-up area. Like, does Biden pull it out with his incumbency, or just his unpopularity weighing down to DeSantis take it? That's what I think here. I mean, like I'm split. I think maybe DeSantis is even favored because it voted less for Biden in
All right.
2020.
I guess we'll just put it till Republican if you say so. I mean, honestly, I thought this would be lean blue on both. Actually, if you're split and I think it's lean blue, then we should be putting this tilt Democrat, I think. Like honestly, I think this is just barely over the top for Biden because of everything we said before. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think DeSantis has that Trump pull in the Midwest. We need Trump to, I think DeSantis would need Trump out there campaigning for him, which I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah. All right.
Okay. And last is Georgia.
Lastly is Georgia here, and it doesn't even matter because Biden Harris is over 270 now. But I mean, it might matter. Some people could throw their votes. We don't know.
You never know.
But yeah, I think here, I think DeSantis is favored, and honestly,
I was gonna say,
yeah, I think it could be even lean, for him. I think we've seen the moderates in Georgia just doing a lot better. There's no Senate race on the ticket. There's no governor race on the ticket. It should just be a clean fight against this DeSantis versus Biden, and DeSantis is probably just up for the victory here. Kemp's going to campaign for him for sure. We'll see that happening, and yeah, I think she just got it. Georgia likes their moderates.
Okay, well, I think it's. I mean, I'm not really sure. Okay, I think DeSantis does have an advantage in Georgia. I mean, in primary polling, I think we've even seen him over Trump in Georgia in some polls, like in like GOP primary polling.
Yes.
But I mean, obviously, we have to account for the shifts in Georgia. I mean, that Atlanta area has been flying to the left, and
right.
really in all those those cities in Georgia. But is it enough to push Biden over the top against DeSantis? I'm not really sure. We've seen a lot of ticket splitting in Georgia. We've seen them vote for Brian Kemp overwhelmingly. DeSantis kind of reminds me of like I feel like he's kind of similar to Brian Kemp, except like more known. So I think it'll go red. I'm kind of between tilt and lean, but yeah, essentially that's
all right. I mean, we'll just go tilt then. Those Atlanta suburbs are flying to the left. I mean, that's very true. So yeah, there we go. 271 for Biden Harris. We have DeSantis at 267 electoral votes. This one is going to be a nail biter, honestly. If Trump runs and loses to DeSantis, right, and Trump endorses DeSantis, it would be a different story. But if Trump just runs and then loses and then doesn't say anything and just like goes to Mar-a-Lago, this is going to be an absolute nail biter. And I think this would be somewhat like what would happen.
And then on a third hand, like if Trump claims fraud in the GOP primary, then DeSantis might be screwed. So like, I mean, it really depends. Like it's going to depend on Trump. If it's like DeSantis v. Biden,
it is going to depend on Trump. It could also depend on DeSantis. I mean, DeSantis could just not run. Like he could totally still just not run.
I feel like he's angling. Like
he is angling to run.
It's like a 90% chance. I think he runs.
There is a big chance he runs. What day would you say he declares if you had to do it right now? Let's do something crazy. Let's do a prediction.
What day is the Iowa primary scheduled? Like maybe he'll do it a year from then or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah. When is it scheduled?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if they've done it yet. They've scheduled it yet. I don't know. In my quick search, I couldn't find it. Maybe I typed in something weird, but I'm not sure. When does DeSantis announce? Maybe I just pick a random date, like March 1st. I don't know.
March 1st. Sure. Okay, I'm gonna personally go March 22nd. All right, March 22nd.
Oh, my birthday. Wow.
That's crazy. That's
my birthday.
Right, anyways, I'm going March 22nd. Okay, I think it's your birthday gift. Okay, that he
Oh God.
There we go. All right, thanks everyone for watching. Another secret crazy prediction. If you watch till the end, make sure to like the video down below, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Just ring the bell. Yeah,
make sure to share with all your friends. I mean, we're going to be coming out with a bit more content, especially once we finally finish all our college
are done. Yeah? I'm done, Luke. You need to hurry up.
I'm working on him. I'm working.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye.
See ya.